Alright, seems like we're live on Twitch. Should be live on YouTube momentarily. Welcome back. I'm a full stack developer. I've been working professionally in the industry for 8 years now, mostly doing work on websites, so building the visuals of websites and the backends that power them. Primarily, it's been for built a lot of internal tools and products for that aren't as outward facing, but more recently been doing more kind of customer facing work. I'm documenting my journey by streaming. I'm learning more about gaming. I wanted to improve my algorithms chops, so I'm going to be doing some leak code problems, and overall just looking to answer software engineering questions, improve other people's abilities to software engineer, hopefully encourage others to do the same, get into engineering. In particular, I really like front-end engineering, so that means, you know, the UI visual aspect of it, which gaming is very much part of that, and part of why I think I've been so fascinated by games in general over my life. So yeah, I've been working recently on building out some kind of proof of concept game features for not any game in particular. I really want to get a better understanding of some different patterns within gaming, within game development. And I've built myself a little playground to do that. So before we get started, I've done this over the last couple streams, but I'll do it again. I'll probably do it every time I'm working on this. I have built, I'm just going to show off what I've built so far. So we see ourselves at a main menu here. There's the ability to load different saves. There's the ability to start a new game or continue the current one that we're on. Let's go ahead and start a new game. So what you see here is kind of a debug view. So you can see kind of some zombies that are coming towards me because they're within a certain range. This red triangle that you see is my flashlight hitbox. So if I press F, I can turn on the flashlight and you can see it turn yellow there. And then when I shine it over a zombie, you can see that the zombies actually appear here. You can shoot the zombies, they die. You can open up an inventory. You can reload. I haven't built too many things around like inventory management yet, or items that you can pick up or use. That'll come in a little bit, but recently I've been focusing on UI. So last session, I built some reusable components for just this very, very simple UI in the top left there. And I also redid the main menu as well as the pause menu here. And one of the other big things I've focused on previously is a chunk management system and also a save system. So as you can see here, I zoomed everything out, and there's basically a 3x3 grid that's displayed here, and at any given time 9 chunks are loaded. So we can see if I move left in just a moment, we'll see that we crossed over a line, loaded the next set of chunks, unloaded the previous chunks, and so all the like zombie positions and things were saved there. So if we move over and come back, we can see that the zombies reappear and appear as they did, or as, you know, wherever they were. So yeah, for this session, I am going to be working on the just making the debug menu kind of the same feel as the main UI. So I'll do that, and then I had some ideas around exploring. Actually, after that, I will update the inventory menu as well. This needs to be updated to the new system. And then once I do that, I will maybe to get the inventory working, like add some ammo, have that connect to the this player UI elements is what I'm calling it in the top left here. And then from there, might build out like a map system. I'm curious how I would do that. I'm not exactly sure the best way to do it, so it sounds like an interesting kind of feature to build. And then from there, just kind of do whatever sounds interesting. So let's get started here. I think we're all good on sound levels, probably. Hopefully it's not too loud. If it is, someone can stop in and tell me that my voice is too loud or the music is too loud or too quiet or whatnot. All right, so we want the debug UI elements. So we have, we've created this reusable component called, what is it called? Game UI label, that we also want to use for the version ID down here. So we're going to be just messing with the game UI file here. But one thing we want to do is have the debug information pinned to the right rather than pinned to the bottom left of this container. So I'm going to go into probably do it here. I think we'll do horizontally. We want to shrink to the end. That's perfect. And that should be good. Now we can go ahead and delete these. And we will add a new node that is of type game UI label. And we will call this version ID. So now we'll come in here, say add on ready var version ID scene is full UI container slash debug elements slash vbox container slash version ID. And then we can come down to this update version ID where we're updating version ID.text and instead do version ID dot set value text of ID. And version ID scene dot set value text. And we can also get rid of that version ID. It's not being used anymore and doesn't exist. I think from here we should see things look properly. So we do, except for the fact that we are not, initializing it. So we need to initialize it with its title. So version ID text equals version. And then from here, we will say version ID scene dot initialize with version ID text. Great. So from here, we should see it show up properly in the bottom left. If we resize, it pins to the bottom right, which is exactly what we wanted to have happen. And we should be set there. So let's just commit that. Add debug UI elements to game UI. And we can push that. All right. So next up, we said we would focus on the inventory menu. So we'll pull this up right now. Part of it is programmatic. It's dynamically loaded. And then the UI itself is not. So we would like everything to be dynamic. So we're going to be pulling in elements from the game UI, from the main menu, mostly the main menu actually. And we'll be reusing some of the things that we do there. We can probably even reuse the action button that we've built for the main menus for the items, as well as the use and drop buttons here. So let's pull up this. Pretty simple so far because I haven't built much functionality in it. We are, let's see. So we basically just had some debug elements going on here just to make sure we select the right thing. But first let's focus on this outer shell here. So as we've seen in other menus, the outer parent can be a control, but we want to mostly be using panel containers, and I haven't seen anything yet that works better than panel container. So we will be sticking to that for now. Oh, actually, one thing I should do. Oh, this has been happening. One thing I want to do is actually check the stream real quick because I did update, and I'm realizing I did this. I did update the output. Oh, that looks actually very clear. And it's in 2030p. Hilariously, I wasn't able to get it exactly 4K. But as we can see here, it actually does look pretty decent. So that looks good. I assume the same is true for YouTube, though I can go check this real quick. Am I signed in? No, I don't know what I'm signed into here. Switch account. I believe it's this account. How do I see myself live? Let's go to my channel. This account. Cool. I think that looks pretty good. It says I'm streaming in 1440p. It's great. Yeah, this looks really nice. Cool. All right, let's keep going. So we have an outer panel container, which I think we'll just call container. And from there, we want two separate sections. One for the kind of inventory section and one for the buttons themselves. So we'll add two more panel containers. Wait, let me look at, because I did this with the load menu real quick. So yeah, add a panel container and then two panel containers, which were these two sections here. And then from there added the scroll container, which I can do. It's pretty much going to be this exact same layout. And in that case, let's just go ahead and copy and paste. This does suggest to me that if I'm using kind of the same UI layout for multiple menus, that I should be creating a reusable component for it. But I'm not at a point yet where I feel like I can commit to doing that because I don't know how inventory is going to change over time. So we'll go ahead and let's see, I copied everything under container. So we'll paste that as children of container, and then I think we can safely just delete everything here. Oh, that's not ideal. My iPad died, which had all my OBS stuff on it. So hopefully OBS has not crashed. No, I think it's still working. Should be good. Okay, cool. That'll be back up in a sec. Doesn't really matter too much. All right, let's go ahead and delete these nodes. Now this will be named. Let's go ahead and reconnect to my iPad. Enable. So it's not connected to Wi-Fi. Now it's connected to Wi-Fi. And reconnect. All right, we're good now. All right, so we're gonna rename this to inventory items is fine for now. And that can be button container still. We'll just say items container and items margin container. I think this is a VBox container. Yeah, so that'll have everything be vertically aligned and then, or vertically spaced out. And then we have this HBox container, which we'll say action container for now. And we'll actually call it action horizontal container. Now in inventory here, this what I called MC is now going to be container slash inventory items slash items container slash items margin container. So this is where we're going to put all of the inventory items that we have, which is what's happening in this block of code here. So let's rename this to items scene. Okay, and then we will need to programmatically add the buttons. So I've done this already. Let's go ahead and just get rid of all of these files. Pull up inventory again. I did this in the load menu in the main menu. So we'll just go to main menu. I have a menu items. In this case, we'll call it something different, but basically this acts as a dynamic way to load buttons within the scene. So we'll say use text, because this is what these are the names for the buttons. And we have drop text equals drop. I know how to spell. So use text here and drop text. We'll call these action items. And now we need to say for the use button, we want it to trigger this function down here called onUseButton, button down. And then for drop text, same thing. Although it doesn't look like let's actually update the name of this to just use click or use button pressed, and then we'll say drop button pressed. Print drop button pressed. So we need to update these. Use button pressed. We don't want it to actually call the function there. Drop button pressed. Great. So now we want to be able to access the scene. So we're looking for the action horizontal container scene. It's probably a better name for that, but again, it's container, button container, action horizontal container. Now, in the ready function, which gets called once all the children are loaded into the scene and have have had all their ready functions called to, we will say for action item of action, action items. Now we will get the action text. So we'll say action item dot get text. And then we will say if action text does not equal the null state of a string, we will then create an action button, which we need to load here. Are we using this anymore? Inventory item button scene. We are. Okay, so we'll need to update that in a sec. We'll say action button scene equals preload action button. We'll get action button equals action button scene dot instantiate. Then we will initialize action button. This is a function I've created, and you can specify at the moment 5 parameters. The first being the what it's called. So in this case, it will be the action text. Why is this yelling? Oh, it's not for, I'm thinking in JavaScript terms here. It's in is the keyword here. And then the first is the kind of label name, and then the next 4 are margin. We won't have any, actually, let's just do 10 everywhere for now. Then we need to connect the signal for pressing the action button. So in this case, it's going to be action button dot connect. And I think it's, what's the name? It emits emit button down. So emit button down to the function that we specified in the action. So it'll be action item dot get action. And then we want to add it to the scene. So we'll say, what is it? Action horizontal container scene dot add child, and then action button. So from here, we've now added the 2 buttons horizontally to the scene. So I think we're set there. Now we need to do something to, we want to set the minimum size for the inventory menu here. So we're going to say, just for the moment, we'll say it's 400 by 400, similar to all our other menus here. That doesn't look like it registered. That doesn't look like 400 by 400 to me. Oh, does it have? It already has a size specified for some reason. I'll fix that in a sec if I can. It doesn't seem like I can adjust that. Do you have a size? No. Okay, so we want the inventory to be front and center. So we're gonna center it. And then within this container, we also want it to be centered. So now that gets it in the middle of the screen. And I do need to figure out why the size is hard-coded to 400 by 800. Why am I not allowed to adjust that? That's pretty strange. I haven't seen that before. Wondering... I don't think I'm doing it in code anywhere. But I do think I mean, before let's see, can I adjust it now? I can adjust it. What's going on here, Godot? It's really weird. Okay, not gonna, oh, I think it might be because there's a child down here that is specifying that size, I think. Yeah, it must be this. No? Oh, whoops. Hold on. I do want that to stay as shrink begin, and this should be shrink end. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, but this is fine. I think this should show some, oh wait, this inventory item button scene instantiates it and adds it to items. Okay, no, I think this should work. Let's give it a try. Open up the inventory, yes. Okay, so it looks ridiculous, but it shows everything. I wonder, because it seems like this, hold on. So we're loading in player inventory.keys. So player inventory, I think might be, well, let's go to game manager. Player in, how are we, okay. Player dot get inventory, okay. So really we want to go to player, because through the game manager, we're getting access to the player, for better or worse. Now we have inventory. Okay, get inventory just returns player's inventory. Now the player's inventory has a max item size of 16. Let's say I reduce that to 8. What is it gonna do to our inventory menu here? No, it's still the same size. Okay. What if we increase this to 24? Does that... not gonna do anything here, so I have to restart the game. Does it add a scroll? Yes, you can scroll, it does look like. Although it seems to be going down below, clipping under the buttons here, which is not what we're looking for. So I'll have to fix that as well. I will be right back. I just need to quickly use the restroom. right, thanks for your patience there. I am back. So we're trying to figure out why the sizing is the way it is here. I also remember I forgot to start the timer. So let me do that real quick. If I can remember how to do that. We've been streaming now for like 30 minutes. I missed about 10 minutes yesterday, so let's see if I set this to 2 and then I hit start. Oh wait, I don't do it from there. I do it from here. No, it starts at 1:22. Okay, that's fine. I don't know how to edit it, but that's all good. Hey Leo, how's it going, man? I think you stopped in last weekend. Is that right? All right, we're trying to figure out why this is the size it is. Hey Black Sheep, how's it going? Okay, yeah, this is why, because we have, for some reason, a minimum height of 800 on the inventory items. So that's, yeah, not what we wanted. I'm doing well. Last week I was working more on like leak code algorithm stuff, and over the last several days and several streams I've kind of focused more on doing some Godot game development. I have like a little sandbox right now where I'm building just building out some features, testing for a potential game if I make one in the future. Just trying to understand more about game development and how Godot works, which is a game engine, and just working on that. So right now doing some UI like inventory work. I can just give like a quick demo if you want to see it of everything I've built so far. So got a main menu. There's the ability to load different games and delete them. You can start a new game, continue the current game. Some of the polygons you can see here are debug. They're basically debugs, but the game is relative. I mean, you can't really call it a game right now. You can move a character around. There's zombies that follow you. You can only see them technically when your flashlight is on. You can shoot them, kill them, open up inventory, which I'm working on right now and doesn't do anything. Thanks, I appreciate it. And just to zoom out a little bit so you can see more of the map. Oh, interesting, I have a bug. Zoom out a little bit. You can see I've built out a chunking system as well. So as you move around, there's a 3x3 grid that is around you, and zombies get loaded and unloaded and saved and whatnot. So yeah, and everything's kind of I mean, everything being the zombies are all what do you mean by the player's perspective? Is the chunking system from the player's perspective? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, it's oops, I'm changing stuff here. I don't mean to be doing that. Yeah, it's from wherever the player is. So it's it basically calculates the closest three, like, you know, all the grid from the top left to the bottom right, and then so I don't, this is more of a playground for building features at the moment, just to like understand, you know, how to build a chunking system, how to build a save system, how to implement XYZ feature. So I mean, I might build something on top of it, but right now it's, you know, just a top-down little game, kind of like a bullet hell type game, but right now you can only just shoot bullets from a single gun. And eventually we'll be expanding on that, just again to get an understanding of how I would do this if I were building a full-fledged game. So that in the future when I do that, I have the kind of background knowledge and experience in doing it, so it makes things a little bit more straightforward. All right, so we were fixing the size of this inventory items. Let's actually make the button container to a little bit smaller. Doesn't need to be that big. And we want horizontally it to fill, and we want this, so that's expanding as it should. Why is it? So that should be filling too. I'm not exactly sure why it's not, it's not expanding. Okay, so that's okay, that's why. It's because of this shrink begin. So I would expect when items are put into the inventory, so when I'm dynamically loading them in here, we should see this expand, but it doesn't seem to be doing that based on playing it here. Everything's very small. Why is that? So if I change this instead to fill, we will see them all show up, but it's not stopping. It's not respecting the size of the button container on the bottom. Also, it's not centered anymore. Why did that happen? So let's get that centered. This also looks correctly centered. That's fine. Something's off here. So that all looks right. Is this correct? Why do I not have an option of centering here? I guess because it's a child. Hold on. Am I doing this correctly or not? How did I make this work properly? Because the custom amendment was 800. Oh, I did manually. Okay, so that's what it is. What's the biggest project I've finished? I mean, it's definitely in my professional work. I work for a company kind of similar to like a travel company. So they, you know, you can like book hotels and stuff. And I built out a system for ingesting and what we call deduplicating hotels. So basically taking taking essentially millions of data points, running it through a pipeline that ran weekly and powered like all of the data behind the product that we were building. and that itself took like 4 to 6 months to build, but it's been, you know, I was working on like that side of things for a couple of years. So yeah, it's like one of those never-ending projects. There's always more to do, always something to fix, always something to make better. In terms of in my personal life, I haven't had too many like projects per se. I have built myself a website a couple times. Outside of that, actually, I've been working for the last, like, on and off for the last few years. I play fantasy football with some of my college friends, and we use Sleeper, which is an app for it. If you've played fantasy football, you probably know what it is. And I've built a little integration where I hit some of their endpoints. Actually, I can pull it up right now that I think about it. Let's see, and just show you. Oops, actually, oops, open this. Okay, CD web, and then, so the UI isn't particularly beautiful, but it helps with auction drafts. So what that basically means, so there's like two different types of, oops, why did you not work? Oh, you're using the wrong version of Node. So there's two different types of drafts typically in fantasy football. There's a snake draft and then an auction draft. Why are you not loading? There we go. Snake draft and an auction draft, and it basically, we play with an auction draft, so you get a certain amount of money at the beginning of the season, or at the beginning of the draft, and then you can spend as much or as little on players as you want, and everyone gets a chance to bid on them, and then whoever pays the most at the end of the timer gets that player for the year. And you have to fill out your roster, and so there's a lot of strategy behind it. So I've built out this tool that allows me to like filter by position, filter by some different metrics that I'm curious about. Like I've chosen certain players that are favorites or not favorites. I unselected everyone because the draft was over a few weeks ago. You can also search for players by name, and then you can view individual players, and I have a metric called auction ratio, which basically tells me, is this player a good value? Are they, am I getting them for a really good price, or am I like overpaying for this player, and should I just totally avoid them? So I've been working on this for the last few years. It's, not the prettiest thing, but like it's functional and it works for me. So I'd say like outside of work stuff, that's been one of my larger projects. But it's just for me. I haven't there's no website for it or anything. Like people can't use it for their own stuff. So yeah. It's been fun to build. Okay, going back to inventory. We do want, let's see. So the buttons will be, actually think 100 pixels is perfectly fine here. The outer container is 400 by 400, so we want the inventory items max size, and I think it's items. Excuse me, no, is it items margin container? Oh, whoops, I lost it. Or did I? Hold on. Where did that go? I thought it was inventory items where the size was being... Okay, so in load menu, it's load options container is what has the custom minimum height of 800. Is that actually, that's not being respected here even. It's still 400 by 400. So I mean, I'm copying the same pattern here. Oh, does that mean I might actually have a visual bug here? So if I create another new game, save it, exit, start it up again, do that one more time. No, that actually is exactly correct. Why am I seeing an issue then with the menu here? There's something really funky going on right now. And I've had this... Oh, are you supposed to be full rectangle? Is that what? Oh, shoot. Hold on. Let's not mess with the load menu. Load menu's fine. Go back to inventory. Okay, let's get some of this stuff out of here. All right. Are you... No, you're center. So you should also be center. You're not expanded at all. So that's fine. So this container. Oh. I don't know how that... Okay, it was that container that got updated somehow. I'm not really sure why. But let's go and center this here. Okay, so 400 by 400. Now we'll save for... What was it? It's the... Is it the scroll container or... So inventory items should be vertical shrink begin. And then I think the custom minimum size on it, 800. It's definitely not being, custom minimum says 1,000 by 1,000. Oh, okay. All right. No, so that makes sense. Okay, so for this inventory items, we would want it to be 300 minimum, custom minimum size here. All right, and 400 by 400 I think is going to be too small. It is, but now everything is kind of the right size. So let's close this. Let's actually make this container 1,000 by 1,000 as well. Although maybe it doesn't need to be that wide. Let's do like 600 by 1,000. And then for this, it should be 900. That works. And then now we need to figure out why it's not centering on the screen. Something is placing it off because we... So all of our other menus are centered. Except inventory, which is offset by a certain arbitrary amount, it seems like. I don't think I'm doing that here anywhere. Any controversial opinions regarding coding? I wouldn't say this is controversial, but I mean, I don't know. Could be controversial depending on who you're talking to. I don't think AI is going to suddenly come in and take over all of our jobs. I think we're still very far away from that. There are very useful ways to use AI, and it's a helpful tool. UII. What does that mean? AI is a very useful tool, but it's not doing what anyone is doing for their daily jobs yet in terms of coding. Tell them. Who am I telling, and what am I telling them? All right, why isn't this centering? I feel like it's the Godot issue where there is like a weird, sometimes you can just get like the position slightly out of whack. And then it like doesn't show up properly in the editor, or it shows up in the editor, but it doesn't like make sense. It's an expression. Why is this minus 300, minus 500? Hold on. There's something that's offsetting it by an extra like 100 pixels or something. Why is that happening? UI is like ooh la la. Oh, gotcha. Where are you from? Yeah, where are you from that's an expression? Because I've never heard that before. All right. There's an issue here. Now I'm not seeing how to center. Okay, alignment center. Don't think I needed to change that. Did I lose my ability to center with the... What is going on here? Gotcha. Yeah, hey, I mean, I'll happily share that opinion, and I'll also happily take that as the outcome for AI, because I don't, you know, if it starts being able to code better than humans and takes all our jobs, it's not gonna be great for a lot of people. You're German. I don't know, great grandfather came from Germany in like the 1850s over to America. I don't know if my last name means anything. When I've looked it up, Klingelhofer means like a ringer of bells, like a bell ringer, a newspaper boy or something like that. I don't know if that's at all a common name in Germany or if you've ever heard of it before. Okay, I've gotten myself all mixed up here. Inventory items. Yeah, Bell, yeah. I had gotten that far in understanding my last name, but I think it's like related to newspapers, like one of the bell ringers back in the day who would be like, get your newspaper, like town news kind of thing. Either that or like a, you know, church bells maker or something, or ringer. Or maybe both. All of the above. Okay, this is super annoying that this isn't working. I'm like, at this point, kind of worried that it was related to copy and pasting from the load menu. And if that's the case, I might just have to delete everything and redo it. So that's height of 900, that's height of 100. That position's correct. Shrink end is expected. Shrink begin is expected. Let's just reset these anchors here. Okay, what if I try full rectangle instead of center? No. Let's also fix this V box. Don't want that alignment to be center. I want it to be begin. All right, I'm about to the point where I'm just gonna move on and like deal with it not being centered anymore. Although I feel like it's something to do with this position here. Oh no, because it's just half. No, that's right. What is happening? All right, let's say I. Okay, so is it actually centered in the top left if I do this? Oh God. Okay, so there's something somewhere that is forcing this to be right here. I'm realizing maybe I have, what calls this? Okay, so pause manager? No, it might be game manager. Okay, when I press E, is this like on the player? When I press E, what's bringing up the inventory? Okay, that's unhelpful. Where is this getting called? Inventory. Game manager, no. Okay. Pause manager, oops. Inventory. Okay, inventory open. All right, when you open the inventory, set the position to gross. All right, well, glad I found that. That's why we were getting that issue. Now we can center this again. And I think it should be fine. Yep, now it's centered, yay. Awesome. Okay, so this is just, we're saying when you click one of these, items null, you click use button, drop button pressed. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, it's ugly, but I got it working. Cool. Let's add a little. Wait a sec. How was I doing different text sizes for like the main menu? So let's go main menu for the action buttons. Menu item action button scene. It's just an action button, but why is the text so small in the inventory yet bigger here? Or is it? No, there's definitely a size difference. Okay, what about pause menu? Or am I just doing the override in? No. Okay, action button scene. Not doing anything here with font. Why is the margin not being respected here either? Because with these action buttons, I'm adding margin. And yet it's not doing anything. Okay, what if I added like 100 margin to the top? This should be very obvious. Oh, because that's the wrong thing. Oh, it's inventory item button scene, which I have not done anything with. That's right. Okay, let's open this up. Inventory item button. Which we can, I think, replace with action button. So I'm gonna just delete these. Anything here that does anything crazy? Actually. What is inventory key? Is that even used for anything? When you click it, it emits that item. Is that necessary? Yes. So rather than, let's see. So we're gonna get rid of the button and we'll instead change this type to an action button. I think I can do this. So we'll actually leave the name as inventory item button, that's fine. But now we have an action button. So this extends, can it extend action button? Is that a thing? Only one way to find out. So now we don't have item button scene. We just have text. I don't think we even need this anymore because action button should cover that for us. But did I do this elsewhere? I feel like I did this somewhere else with the load. Oh yeah, I should just do exactly what I did for load menu item. So, oh no, load menu item. Ah, okay, never mind. So I do need this to be, sorry, was this a VBox container? It is. I don't know why. I think it should, well, I'll follow the same pattern, but I think it doesn't need to be a VBox container. And also it should extend. Inventory item button. This should extend. Guess we'll do control just to be consistent, even though it's consistently wrong, I believe. Okay, action button scene equals preload action button. Load menu item. It's gonna be pretty similar to this. It's actually gonna be almost exactly the same. So we'll be doing that the same way. So we'll come back to our inventory item button, and here, we'll initialize the button name with T, and we'll connect that to on button down. What a great name. So when the action button is clicked, we will trigger on button down, which will emit a signal to elsewhere that the button has been pressed with the inventory key. Great. So now I think that should work. Holy crap. That scared me, Gradius. I have chat messages reading out loud to me. I'm making I'm not really making anything. What I'm doing is kind of building a playground to test different game features, and learn more about Godot, learn more about game development. So I can just show you kind of what I've been working on. We have a main menu here. You have the ability to load a game, create a new game, continue the current game that you're on. The features of the game itself are relatively minimal at this point. You basically have some zombies that you can only see technically when the flashlight that you have is on. Right now I have debug values on, so you can basically see kind of where the zombies are, just for the sake of ease at the moment for testing. You can shoot them, they die. You can open up your inventory, which I've been working on currently. There's no items yet or anything. You can reload your weapon. And yeah, I've built out a chunking system. So if you move left, right, up, or down, it loads different chunks, loads and unloads the zombies within that. Built a save system, which needs to be expanded a bit, but it, saves where all the zombies are. So if you exit the game and then reload the game, the zombies should be in the same spots that they were. Yeah, and I'm basically, it's not really, this isn't meant to be a game that I'm gonna build and release, although it could turn into that one day maybe. But this is really just to get a better understanding of game development and Godot, and work on some game stuff like this. So that's what I'm working on. So right now I am building out the inventory UI, and then I'll probably add ammo as an item that can be picked up from a zombie when you kill them, just so there's a way for you to get more ammo. And then from there, add more stuff. Soon I might work on building out a map, so you can kind of see where you are, and if you add key points, maybe add those on the map or whatnot. But yeah, it's really just a playground to learn more stuff. So, all right, I got all these working. When you click on them, item is null. Although let me just make sure. So when that's emitted, we are triggering, we're connecting it to inventory item selected. Okay, it's saying item is null Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And if you have, if you have questions about software engineering, about game development, it can help a little less with game development because I'm still learning the ropes myself. But I've been coding professionally for the last 8 years and coding in general for the last like 10 to 12 years. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Feel free to let them rip. Let's just print out what the inventory key, the item key is here so we can get a better sense. Actually, it might even be null. Yeah, what's it? What is it? What is item key? Item name. I guess it'll just be empty, won't it? It's been a while since I've messed around with this area of the item 7, item 2, item 0. I see. Okay, it's the key. It's the key for the player inventory, which I'm realizing I want to reduce max items back to 16. Not that it really makes any difference right now. Basic key name is item. Okay, this is all making sense. Okay, now that we have the UI kind of looking correct, and I think also, let me kill a zombie real quick. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Gotta start a new game because I have no way to get more ammo at the moment, which is the next thing I'll work on. All right. So if I kill this zombie, I walk over to it. That looks exactly the same. Maybe I should add I think I'll add a little container at the top that specifies whether it's the user's inventory or the, like, a dead zombie's inventory. Let me do that real quick. So within here, we'll add another panel container child node, and unfortunately I'm hard coding these custom minimum values, which I really shouldn't be doing, but I haven't been able to figure out a better way to do this dynamically. So we're going to say that's 800, and we're actually going to say vertically we want it to shrink center, so it's centered. Now this panel container, we want it to be the custom minimum height of 100, which will act as the where we put the name of the, like, which inventory we're opening. We want there also just to be a white background, and then within this there will be a label. Now, actually realizing, am I even opening the zombie's inventory? So if I go to, I think it was in pause manager. I don't think there's anything about a zombie inventory yet. Do I have zombie inventory? No. I'm pretty sure when I'm hitting E over a zombie, it's just opening my own inventory. Yeah, so this is, there's a handful of different game development softwares that you can use. The big ones being Unreal, Unity. This one is called Godot, and the nice thing about this game development platform is that it's open source, which means that you don't have to pay royalties or anything for using the software. They're just, very kind people out in the world who are maintaining it. Here, I'll pull it up here. Whoops. Can you please just open Google? All right, so it's called the Godot engine. It was first released like 10 years ago. Let me make this a little bigger. First released 10 years ago. I'm using it on Mac, but you can use it on Windows, on Linux. And it allows you to build 2D and 3D games and export them to pretty much any platform. I think you can export them to, any PC platform, so Steam, probably Epic, anywhere there. It can go to Xbox, Switch, PS, like PlayStation, mobile games, so iOS and Android. Very powerful, very powerful. They've done a lot of good things over the last several years to improve. It's always been good at 2D games, but recently they've gotten a lot better at 3D games. And I've mostly dabbled in the 2D game space, so there's a lot more I need to learn about 3D if I ever want to go down that route. In terms of the most popular Godot games that are out there, I think Brotato is a Godot game. Yes, so Brotato, you may or may not have heard about it. It's got it's got 75,000 reviews on Steam, overwhelmingly positive. It's a very popular game. I've been playing it a lot lately. But $3.50 on Steam right now. It's kind of like Vampire Survivors, if you've heard of that, but you get weapons and money and buy stuff and everything. Nice. What are the 3D games you've made? So there's, more games are being developed with Godot. It's a really powerful, cool system. There's a lot to learn. Really a ton to learn about it. But I'd highly recommend just going and, checking it out. And there's lots of tutorials online that you can follow. That's kind of how I got my start with Godot. Just kind of watch some tutorials, and then from here I've mostly been teaching myself, just getting a better understanding of how the engine works, how to use it, what you can do. Yeah, no problem, you got it. Again, any other questions, just send them in the chat. Where was I? Okay, I was adding the name because I'll reuse this inventory. So kind of what I'm thinking here, so technically you don't need to use VS Code at all with Godot. Godot has its own built-in editor. You can do everything in here. You never need to touch VS Code. And this will work for probably 99% of people. They also provide, I forget exactly what it's called. It's like, the acronym is LSP, like Language Server Protocol or something. They provide a way for you to, the Godot engine spins up a little server that VS Code can plug into. And that allows you to use all of your VS Code plugins and settings within VS Code to do updating. So if I, update something in VS Code, then it obviously updates it in the Godot engine. And you can also have it, if I want to open up one of the scripts here, rather than by default opening it in the Godot editor, you can double click on it here and it opens up in VS Code. It was a little bit involved getting this working, but it's been a really nice thing to have because I'll just show you kind of part of my setup here. I have this really funky keyboard. It's 42 keys, and I have a bunch of macros and everything, which goes nicely with VS Code. I also use the Vim plugin in VS Code, which means I get a full Vim editor, which you would get, if you were just coding in the terminal. But I do that in, let's get there. But I really like VS Code and I like Vim. And so having all these key bindings here is really nice because I can navigate everything just using my keyboard. I don't need to really use my mouse for too much. You'll see me using my mouse to look at some of the stuff in the menus and everything, but mostly I try to do everything just with the keyboard so I don't have to move my hands around too much. Does that kind of answer your question about showing more of the workflow, or was there something else specifically that you wanted to see? That's kind of the extent that VS Code is used in this workflow, though. It's just for coding mainly, and I just have it connect directly into the engine. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's a lesser known feature of Godot, but it's a really, really nice thing to have, at least personally. Okay, let's add... Yeah, and for the first while, so I started messing around with Godot probably 3 or 4 years ago, but I didn't... Yeah, you're good. But I didn't, but I always used the engine editor, and it was just like annoying and kind of clunky and not how I coded everything. And then once I figured out that you could connect it to VS Code, it was a game changer, really. Okay, so we want to add a label up here. Doesn't need to be a button. I added, let's see, actually here, I want to move all the inventory stuff up to UI. So let me create a new folder. It's called inventory. So we'll move the inventory scene and its script. Move to, oh, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. That's kind of cool. Move to there. And then we'll move the inventory item button to, actually, I guess to the same spot. It's not a generic button that should be used everywhere. It's just specifically for inventory. So that is going to break some stuff. Specifically around, okay, you got deleted, around the pause manager. So now this is in UI/inventory. Let's see if this works. We'll find out other places. Nope. Inventory item button does not exist. So then inventory, that makes sense. Inventory, this got moved, so it's UI/inventory. I think that's probably the extent of the changes I've made. Nope. Inventory item button does not exist in inventory. Okay. So one of the downsides of using VS Code with Godot is that when you have an error, like you just saw, so when I boot this up, it shows an error down here, but then it also secretly opens up the script and shows you exactly where the error was in the script here. Now, if I come into VS Code and I say like UI/inventory and hit save, all seems okay on the VS Code side of things. But if I go to run the game again, oh, it worked. So in the past when I've done this, I must have done something slightly different there. In the past when I've done that, it doesn't respect what's in VS Code. It takes whatever's in this open script in the Godot engine, and it overwrites what existed previously in VS Code. For whatever reason, wasn't an issue here, but just something to, kind of a gotcha that took me a little while to figure out, just to figure out why that was happening. Okay, so open that up. We got some space at the top here that we are going to add a label for. I have game UI label, which really is more of a game UI element. It's not really a generic label per se, I don't think. Because if it is a generic label, then yeah, it's not really a generic label. So I will do one more thing and just a little more organization here. I should put the game UI into the UI folder. So everything's been flat for now. Hey, Vertilix, thanks. It's kind of a game. It's kind of not really a game. It's right now I'm building out kind of a playground for just like different features that I might want in a future game, and I'm learning more about UI and all of the different aspects of game development. So right now I'm just focusing on learning more about like UI, inventory management, that kind of stuff. Just getting a better sense for Godot and how it all works. Okay, so we're gonna have some issues now. Nice. What are you working on? Any like 2D game, 3D game, just kind of learning coding in general, or do you already know how to code and you're just messing around with game development? Okay, so that's actually fine. Is this all done? This might all be done dynamically, actually. If that's the case, then we... Oh, no. We're going to have an issue in... Where does game UI get instantiated? Nice. Is Brachy's just Brachy's Game Jam. Welcome to the 11th official Brachy's Game Jam. Jam is now over. Nice. I'm exactly the same. Oh, this is the old one. I have chat in both YouTube and Twitch right now. And I should probably add it to the screen at some point, but I'll just be talking back and forth here. Yeah, I do web dev full stack professionally as well, and just do game dev on the side for fun. Okay, this is the old Brachy's Game Jam. Let's see, 2024.2 maybe? Oh yeah, this one, nice. Calm Before the Storm. Nice. Made a little tower defense game. How does it fit within this category? What did you do to, if you can share? Oh, actually, is your game in the submissions here? We should check it out if it is. Vertilix. No, do you have... Oh, there's probably... Oh, there's a huge... Oh my god, so many games. Holy cow. Wow. Wait, is this all from this game jam? Yeah. Brachy's Game Jam 2024.2. Goodness. There's, I don't know, 1,700 games there. Wait, sorry, is your name? Oh yeah, Vertilix. Vanguard. Nice. Vanguard of the Towers. You mind if I check it out? Cool. Let's do it. Oh, I don't know that I'm actually going to be able to play it. I'm on Mac right now. And a .exe is not going to work. Do you have any like YouTube footage of it or anything? No, yeah, I don't. Very certain. Yeah, that's not gonna work, unfortunately. But when I'm on my PC, I'll check it out. No, you don't? Okay. Well, when I'm on PC, I'll bookmark this. I'll check it out. And if you stop by again, I'll be sure to give you praise. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's, you know, any project that's complete, no matter how much time or little time you spend on it, is a huge accomplishment. How long was the game jam? Was it just like a couple days, a few days, or was it like a couple weeks? I know some are long, some are short. I'd never heard of the Brackies game jam before. It's a week? Cool. Did you do it with some friends? Did you like, were they friends in person or just people you met online? Or do you get like assigned teammates? Like I don't actually totally know how some of these game jams work. Nice. That's super cool. It's fun to have sibling stuff like that. That's awesome. I should definitely try a game jam. My wife's brother is also a coder, and he's dabbled in some game dev stuff. And we both do music, and so it would be fun for us to do a game jam at some point. Maybe this year's the year. We'll see. Yeah. It's harder and harder to find chunks of time to do it though. But you know, I guess it's one of those things, like, even if you only have a little bit of time to put into it, it still teaches you a lot and is a fun experience. All right, where was I? I was messing with this game. I was moving the game UI into the UI folder, and then I also needed to go into, no, it's not pause manager. It might be game manager. Is that where the, why am I instantiating the game UI? Or is that in chunk testing? Which I think is what the scene is called. Yeah, game UI is here. So I think it should be fine. Yeah, cool. That's all working properly. Great. Okay, so I wanted to create a generic. Actually, do I even need to create a generic label? Probably don't. There's not really a whole lot of reason to. I don't know where else I would apply it at the moment. So I will just add a child node label, which I want to, why is it there? Oh, because this panel, wait. This one should be vertically shrink begin. The Godot UI is very interesting. Okay, so this label is centered there. Do I want this inventory to act differently? Okay, so this inventory class or component is not at the moment, like I can't use it for multiple types of inventory. I can only use it for player inventory, which is fine, but I'll need to build a way to okay, so I'm gonna update the name of this actually to player inventory, just so it's obvious that it's not a generic one. And I will create a generic inventory, I think. So we're gonna go ahead and update the, where is this? Did I move it? Oh, I moved it already. Okay, so this is actually player inventory. And then, yeah, okay, this is fine for now. Player inventory, player inventory, player inventory. Oops. Actually, these are gonna stay as yeah, that can stay as generic. I'll move it in a sec. So I'll create a new folder, which is just meant to be the inventory UI aspect of all of this. So essentially what I want to be able to do, everything's going to be broken because I moved paths. So pause manager. This is now player inventory. I even call it player inventory here. All right, does this work? Nope. Oh, okay. So within player inventory, even things are broken. I guess makes sense. Wrong player inventory. Hold up. So you are, so this is all gonna make sense in a second. Let's start this up again. If it wants to start. Okay, so essentially what I'm looking to do with player inventory here. Okay, now close inventory is broken. One sec, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. Is that pause manager? Self.close inventory. Cool. So that's now called player inventory. That's not ideal that it's hard coded like that, but something just to keep in mind for as I'm moving through this. There's probably a better way to do that. Okay, so when I kill a zombie, I want to be able to go hover over it where it says E and it pops up. I want to have two inventories pop up, one on the left for the zombie inventory and then the one on the right for the player inventory. I want to be able to move things either by dragging. I need to figure out how that works, either by dragging or having like clicking and then moving and just doing some rudimentary like system where it moves to the next open like empty slot or something. So that's why I'm gonna add the label at the top, but the way I've built the player inventory is such that I can't also reuse it for a zombie inventory, which means I'd have to do a lot of this stuff again, and I think I want the UIs to look almost exactly the same. Because of that, I'm going to separate the player inventory logic from the actual displaying of the inventory. So that's why I renamed some stuff to player inventory, and I'm going to move a decent amount of this code as well as these components into a inventory, like more generic inventory component that can be used one or many times, where you basically just pass in an inventory and then it allows you to like add items, remove items. There's like a number of generic functions that an inventory should be able to do. And then we'll have a when you're opening up a zombie's inventory, we'll have a parent like inventory manager that handles adding and moving and doing all of that for each of the inventories. So with that in mind, I actually think I'm going to hop off here. Been streaming now for the last almost 2 hours, and it's about dinner time, and it's about as long as I have stamina for. So I appreciate everyone that's hopped on. Had a lot of great conversations today. Really very much did enjoy it. So if you enjoyed the stream, give me a follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. For the last like 7 or 8 days, I've been streaming every single day. So I hope to continue that. It's probably not going to be more than like an hour or two. See you, Leo. It's probably not going to be more than an hour or two every day, but hoping to continue this streak, and because I've been having a blast doing it. And see you, Gradius. Thanks for hopping on. Yeah, it's been fun. So I'll definitely be on again, probably tomorrow. What's my Twitch? Okay, let me see if I put this in. It's this. Did that send to Twitch and YouTube? I think that may have actually, but it's this twitch.tv/Klingelhofer. Yeah, cool. It at least sent to Twitch. Did it send to YouTube? Let me know, Gradius, if you got it. If not, I will. It's the same @ I believe. Yeah, @Klingelhofer. So same YouTube, same Twitch. Let's see, did it send? It did. Yeah, perfect. Got it, sir. Great. Awesome. Cool. All right, yeah. I don't know what time I'll be on tomorrow. Might be midday, might be in the evening. Kind of depends on when more people are available. But it, kind of seems like I've gotten more people talking in the evening, so I might try to stick to that. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your Sunday or early